Mutants, monsters and critters, welcome to the show where Slim Bratsky, that's me, and as you can see I'm not sitting in my regular room, but it is what it is. Tries to help you in figuring out if today's game, Rip Out, is worth your time in buckaroonies or not. Finally, after years and years of waiting, Rip Out is dropping, and it's dropping in early access! After being in development for years, I was actually expecting a full-fledged 1.0 release. But that said, I don't know about the hiccups and hinders that has led to this long development time, so I can't really comment on it. Nonetheless, Rip Out is here, let's find out what it brought with it. So in Rip Out, my friends, you play alone or with up to 3 buddies. Your goal is to search for human survivors while fighting your way through mutant-infested ships, all while trying to reach the end goal of finding the Sanctuary, alongside the rest of Earth's residents. It actually sounds like something I would really like to do right now. Bratskis, let's set out to space and find this Sanctuary. In all seriousness though, it is a decent story. It's presented by hand-drawn cutscenes at each world, and there is a total of 5 worlds with a few missions and side quests in them that you need to complete to advance to the next world. I mean, a very simple and straightforward concept, but it does just enough to immerse you in this incredibly atmospheric game world.
The merciless corporate national wars are replaced by ruthless wars between species. Earth governments unite against a common enemy for as long as it benefits the economy.
When embarking on this journey, the game immediately throws you in your ship after a short hand-drawn animated cutscene. And this ship acts as your hub world. And this hub world is where you will be selecting what mission or side quest you will embark on, you will craft and equip new gear with different stats, gamble on the one-armed bandit, and decorate the hub world with your hard-earned trophies that you collect throughout your missions. Now the crafting, it feels very simply put together. It does the job, it shows you what you're about to craft and what stats the item you're crafting has, but there's no filters or no way to compare the item on the crafting table to what you currently have equipped. Now to actually compare, you have to run to your wardrobe, look at your equipped stuff, remember the stats and then compare it in your head to the item on the crafting table. Yes, it does get very tedious comparing the stats like this, but it feels like an underdeveloped mechanic that will evolve as we go into early access. So once you're well equipped and ready to go, you select the mission or quest that you want to embark upon. Unfortunately though, the objectives, they change very little from one another. This is another aspect that feels somewhat underdeveloped, as objectives range from killing a few target enemies to pressing a few buttons. And in all honesty, it does start to feel repetitive after a while, as the objectives are so simply designed and very similar to one another. Luckily though, my friends, the atmosphere is top of the freaking notch. Once you land on a mission, you're instantly hit with this sick atmosphere. On your mission, you will be encouraged to do some exploring to find crafting materials and new schematics for both garments, weapons, upgrades, and yeah, that's about it. However, the exploration is not as exciting as I make it sound, as it leans into you breaking a window or just taking a left turn into a room instead of going straight to your mission objective. There is no puzzling or anything when you explore, it's just, oh, there's an item, oh, okay. Let's go back. But would you like to know what is very exciting? Well, buckle up, because here we go. It is the incredible dark atmosphere that the game managed to create, with some incredible gory, scary and somewhat unique environments and jump scares around every corner of the levels. And these jump scares, they're amped up by both amazing visuals and audio effects. Now I'm about 9 hours into the game as I'm writing this, and I still get jump scared from time to time. Sure, it has dulled me down a bit, but the unexpected still happens from time to time, especially when I start moving faster instead of taking it slow and tactical as the game actually wants me to. And to further increase this incredible thing that the game has going with its atmosphere is that the ships you enter, aka levels, all feel lived in. The levels are decorated in a way that it looks like a livable place. Lots and lots of metallic, but things that stick out here and there are like a fridge, a toilet or an arcade machine area. And it is fairly well done, even though the levels are procedurally generated. Now another thing that is quite amazing is the equipment, guns and enemies. There is not a whooping lot of everything, but all combined, it creates a unique experience with a ton of different combinations. Let me dive into the critter enemies and the pet gun a bit more. So in each level you will see small critters running around. All of these critters have unique abilities. One of them could be a teleporter, the other a plasma shooting cannon, and the creativity on these was not held back. There are a lot of variants of them. But the best is yet to come. So with you on these missions you bring your pet gun. A gun and a pet that attaches to one another, but are also detachable. So detaching your pet from your gun, you can send it to bigger foes for damage, or towards critters to collect them and bring them back to you, so that they can leech onto your shoulder and act as a secondary weapon. And the same thing goes for the mutant enemies. The critters, they constantly seek for mutant hosts to latch onto. The bigger ones, they can carry multiple critters, making the combat variation extremely broad and fun, as it is impossible to predict if and how a mutant will evolve with these critters, and the same thing goes for you. You never know what critters you will find in the next room and what secondary weapon you will have on your shoulder. In all fairness, this is a very advanced mechanic, but the time has been put into it. And how do I know that? Well, it works fantastic. Now, apart from using the critter on your shoulder to kill incredibly gory and insanely well-designed mutants, well, you will be firing at them. Firing with your pet gun, sidearm, or swing with your melee weapon. And when it comes to these base weapons, the variety, it's not insane. However, they do come in different tiers and looks, and are further upgradable via crafting. And they feel so god darn dingly good to fire and swing with. The design of the weapons are beautiful, and to me they are really appealing, and the visual and audio feedback is just amazing. Very satisfying. What I'm trying to say here is that they have great punch to them, and they actually look cool and unique. But one thing though is that there is no weapon FOE, and the weapons, they are big. But it is okay, because it adds to the tense atmosphere of you not being able to see everything clear as day all the time. And I actually never felt like they were in the way. Now, the game is designed a bit like a roguelite. You're becoming stronger as you go with new equipment, and failing a mission, it will take you back to the hub world. There are no checkpoints in this game, but it won't send you back to the start of the game. You simply just won't complete the mission you were on, and on to a new mission you can go if you want to. But to advance to a new world, you need to complete a set amount of missions and side quests, and there is a total of 5 worlds for you to progress in. However though, the environmental design of the levels changes very little, both in different levels and in different worlds. What I would have loved to see is each world have a set theme that sets them apart for a better feeling of progression. And I mean, while they do differ, the difference is just way too small. I could not shake the feeling of, okay, here we go again into an identical looking ship that we were just in. Now, as a starting point in creating more variety, some levels could have had more lights turned on. Make the level brighter while others are darker. But as is now, they more or less feel the same, with a few variations here and there that just did not feel enough. So is this game worth your time in Buckaroonies or not? For the asking price of $25, yes it is. Looking at the roadmap for EA, it makes it even more worth it. What is coming? Well, more of everything, and a lot of new additions and expansions to existing things like increased hub world and more equipment and brand new missions. But even for what is now, I do recommend it. It does lack in level and objective variation, and it does feel repetitive after a while, but the combat, the guns, the crafting, the atmosphere, and attention to detail on the enemies more than makes up for it. Now, I did not review this playing in co-op, but I did play the demo in co-op, and the game is very much playable and quite fun in solo. But it is even more fun in co-op, and there is no way to get around that fact. But it also adds another layer to the game, with co-op and solo play both being very much playable and fun, making this game even a more recommend. So if you are up for a survival horror looter shooter co-op or solo experience, then look no further. RIPOUT is what you need. Did I ever tell you that you're awesome? Oh, okay, good, I did. Well, don't miss these.